Hello, welcome back. I'm still here. I want to do a couple of things in this writing workshop video. I've had a chance, as you know, to look at a number of your papers. And I think generally I would say that your writing in the things that you post to the YouTube channel is much better than what I've seen in the papers, the hard copy papers that you've given me. I'm not sure why that is. I'm at a loss to explain why that is, but nevertheless, that's what I observe. I just want to mention a few things that you need to keep in mind in order to improve your writing as we move through the semester. Most important thing, number one, slow down. Slow down. You're trying to write too fast. I've spoken about this before. You can't just grind these papers out. Check them off your list of things to do and hit send or hit print and then come to class and give it to me. I mean, you can, but you're not representing yourself very well at all. You need to slow down. It's fine to quickly get a draft onto the page, get the words on the page. There's nothing wrong with that. But that is not your end point. Go back, revise. This is, people think, many of you probably think that this is something that is optional. You've got it down on the page. Here is something, you've got you got a piece of paper here. Here, I can take this, give it to Professor Green. This is not a luxury. When you cook something, you're making eggs, and you crack the eggs and you get them into the skillet, right? What if you just stop right there? You never turn on the heat. You never actually make the poached eggs or the scrambled eggs or whatever kinds of eggs you're going to make. But you consider it a done deal once you got the eggs cracked and in the skillet. That's what we're talking about here. It is not a luxury for that dish to go ahead and cook the thing. You gotta cook your writing. Many of you are simply breaking the eggs and then leaving it there. Go back. Turn on the heat. Look at your writing, word for word, sentence for sentence, and ask yourself, am I making sense? Does this language convey my intention? Read your writing aloud. I cannot overemphasize this. Read your writing aloud. You will be amazed at how much you will catch, that you need to revise, that you need to change, you need to rewrite, just by reading and hearing those words that you've written aloud, hearing yourself read your own writing. This is not a luxury, a nice to have. It would be nice if I had time to. This is essential. This is what's going to be required if you leave my class in May knowing how to write better than you did when you came in January. If you think, right, that I'm somehow going to magically transform your capacity to write simply by coming to my class twice a week for a few months, you're mistaken. What you need to write better, you mostly already have. It's your ability to take the time to be careful, to listen to your own sentences, and carefully lovingly construct them, and then revise them. That's the secret to good writing. Aside from reading a lot, slowing down, being careful, reading your own writing and reading it aloud and then revising it is essential. Okay, that's the most important thing I have to tell you. There's no substitute for it. Okay? Now, you're making lots of careless errors. Things like how to form the possessive. Professor Green's, right? You want to say Professor Green's pen, Green apostrophe S, forms the possessive. You say, oh, I know that, right? But it's showing up over and over in your papers. There and there. Their bobcat that they keep in the basement, Their, I see over and over and over again, there, 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 bobcat they keep in the basement. If you're careful, you're not going to make these mistakes, but you're not being careful. Right? That's what you must be, is careful. In your Kirbet Kiza papers, the initial ones that you wrote, where you were just giving me some initial impressions, what most of you didn't do is answer the who, what, where, when, how, why questions that belong in a summary. Now, you know how to summarize. Go back and remind yourself what a summary involves. If you don't do anything else in a summary, you answer those questions. What's going on here? When did it happen? Why did it happen? Who's involved? These basic kinds of questions, the kinds of questions that you see answered in a newspaper article. These are the questions that journalists ask and answer first in a newspaper article. This is what you should do in a summary. In many of your papers, you never mention the Nakba. Not once. It's remarkable to me. You can do better than this. We've talked about this, at the wazoo in class. You need to mention 1948. You need to mention the Palestinians. Many of you referred to the Jews attacked the Palestinians. No, it wasn't the Jews who attacked the Palestinians. It was the Israeli army. Yes, the Israeli army was Jewish, but these people attacked the Palestinian villages in their role as soldiers, not because they were Jews. Okay. Somebody wrote, this is just remarkable, somebody wrote that the Palestinians were trying to carry out a genocide against the Jews in Israel, and the Jews were simply fighting back. You need to be very careful, very careful. If those kinds of errors can get into very intelligent people's papers, not being careful enough. Be careful. Now, this also applies to being careful. Syntax. Syntax refers to the way you put your words together to form sentences. The word order. Does it make sense? You have to assemble, someone who is building a wall made of stones. I don't mean bricks, but stones of various sizes and shapes and thicknesses. If the mason simply throws the rocks up there and throws on some mortar, and it's going to look like shit when he gets through, or she gets through. No, it takes care to assemble the way the rocks go to form, the wall or the side of the building, the side of the house, of the rock house, if that's what's being built. The stones have to be placed just so. The mortar has to be applied just so. You stand back, you look, you change it around. Look for rocks of a different size. Put them together in different combinations to see how they work. And then cement them in. It's a matter of putting your words carefully, thoughtfully together instead of just throwing those rocks up there, throwing those words up there, slapping it against the page and seeing if they stick. Stay in the first person. Don't shift to the second person. First person is I. Second person is you. Don't go to you can see that. No, I see that. I argue that. I suggest that. I observe that Yejar, yada, yada, yada. I. You are the person writing this paper. It is your thoughts I care about. Don't shift to the you. Don't do that. All right? Be careful of vagueness. I have a sentence here that somebody wrote. This person wrote, after reading the narrator's actions, you, don't use the you, after reading the narrator's actions, you can sense a feeling of uncertainty and regret among the narrator's essence. That doesn't mean anything. As a first draft, as a sentence that's getting you started toward what you really mean, fine. But don't let it stay that way, right? Don't let it stay that way. Push that sentence toward clarity, right? Toward clarity. So, once you make a point, move on. Think about the difference between repetition and elaboration. Elaboration is where you make a point, right? And then you deepen that point with details or nuance. Repetition occurs when you simply say the same thing in different words. Don't repeat. Elaborate, deepen, add detail, add color, add richness, add opinion, add speculation. But don't repeat yourselves. And then lastly, structure. You cue your reader to the way you're structuring your thoughts by using paragraphs. That's the main cue that you use to tell your reader, I'm beginning a new idea here. And then allow your reader to be confident in you as a writer, that within that paragraph, you're going to stick with one idea, develop, elaborate that idea, and then in a new paragraph, you're going to move on to a new idea. Once you begin developing multiple ideas in the same paragraph, your reader is no longer going to trust that you're not rambling. Don't ramble. We ramble in our conversations, and that's fine. You can ramble in your first drafts. That's fine. But when you go back, this is one of the main reasons you revise. Make sure you're dealing with one idea and elaborating that idea in a paragraph. And then when you're through making the point and elaborating it, start a new paragraph. Let me see, by the way you paragraph, the progression of your thought through your paper. All right. These are some ideas that I would like for you to take very seriously. These are things that will instantly improve your writing. Right? And I'll continue to emphasize these ideas in class and also here on YouTube. So I will conclude with this. I will thank you very much for taking the time to watch this, and see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.